Meanwhile, the internet was all over President Trump after a Washington Post reporter tweeted this while the president was in Japan. Listen to this. Okay, so he tweets this. Trump dump. President throws entire box of fish food into precious koi carp pond. It was a lie, because if you look at the video, you'll see seconds before the president emptying the box, Prime Minister Abe did the same thing, Sean. So, again, you wonder why the president calls, the media fake news. They try every which way to make this guy look bad, even when it's not true.
Right. I mean, it was the Washington Post and CNN. Not just that, but they selectively edited the video. They didn't show the first part of Prime Minister Abe doing the same thing before the president did. And again, this is clearly an attempt not only to fake news, but it's just to selectively edit what people see to create a narrative that they are pushing. And I think it's sad. For as much as they hate these attacks on the press, the reality is they're manufacturing news and trying to create a narrative that fits their predisposed notion of what they want the president to do. But in this case, it's absolutely pathetic, because the video was out there. And I know that all you have to do is actually watch it from front to back to see that it was Prime Minister Abe that led the way in that action. And I know this is a silly subject, but it just shows you how the means and length to which the mainstream media goes to create a narrative that they believe fits their own agenda.
Yeah, I mean, CNN did the same thing by editing his quote about building, Japanese cars in the U.S. And they just took half of the quote to make it look like the president didn't know that much of the production is already done in the U.S. for Japanese car makers. So, again, it's this creative editing to, make the president look like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And,
there was a story the other day about why the president hadn't called for the death penalty in a case where the alleged assailant had been killed. I mean, that's how pathetically ridiculous a lot of this is, that they are literally making up narratives and inserting facts in stories.
What about the policy part of this, Sean? I mean, we're waiting on tax reform. Health care failed. The president keeps getting pushback on his immigration plans. Are we going to see some real policy, legislative victories out of the GOP? And by the way, I know that they've done a lot of bills in the House, and I know that the president has rolled back regulations, and he's the least regulatory president. I got all that. But we still need to see a victory in order to see the credibility that the people want, like tax reform or immigration reform, what the president campaigned on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the president, as you point out, has done tremendous work on the regulatory front. There is a lot of action happening, but we need that signature issue. I believe it's going to happen with tax reform. I've seen probably one of the best, most constructive efforts, not just within the executive branch, but working with Congress and throughout the whole, sort of team effort. You're seeing a lot of these businesses align and get behind it because they understand how important it is to the economy and job creation. So I really do think that as it works its way through the second day and the Ways and Means Committee gets through the House and the Senate, that this is going to be a big issue that the Republicans can claim helps America move forward and becomes a signature issue going into the 2018 elections.
Sean, what are you doing with yourself these days?
I'm keeping busy, doing a lot of speaking. I'm a visiting fellow at Harvard and started to do a little consulting on the side with some companies, giving some strategic advice. So it's been a nice little existence.
It's great op-ed this morning, Sean.
Thank you.
We will see you soon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Maria.
Sean Spicer there.